Hearing this, I nodded and began looting all the corrupted ones in the palace. The Fallens, having just cleaned the palace, walked into the plaza. The sky suddenly turned pitch black. Endless fallen power filled the air, faintly forming a phantom. Finally, formed by the fallen power, the hundreds of meters tall phantom completely solidified into substance. Its facial features were blurry, clad in ferocious armor. A repulsive aura instantly erupted. Rings of black currents surged in all directions. Even with the silver butterfly's isolation this time, I could still feel the threat. Just then, a cruel laughter echoed. Hehehe, it's done. This fallen heaven phantom, forged from the power of tens of thousands of Fallens, possesses sixth ring strength and carries a trace of its true body's power. Bakum roared in anger. Boy, you killed our master, now pay for it with your life. I didn't respond. I took out the Tianquan sword staff from my ring and precast strengthening and recovery spells on Haiming. With a loud roar, Haiming instantly transformed into his giant form. His 1,000-meter body was shrouded in a ferocious aura, not losing out to the fallen heaven phantom in the slightest. Fusing 3 innate talents, the heaven-refining, hell-suppressing domain instantly expanded. The erupting pitch-black flames, tinged with golden light, contained the power of suppression, instantly pushing the gray domain back. The dozens of Fallens looked grim. They immediately retreated, not daring to stay within the black-gold domain. How is this possible? His domain is different from before. Staying inside not only drains our life essence, but also suppresses our power. At this moment, a fierce phantom didn't form above Haiming's head. Instead, countless black gold patterns covered his surface, radiating a divine and mysterious light, majestic and domineering. Under this terrifying suppression, the surroundings became incomparably heavy. The black gold power erupted, giving him the aura of a fiend god suppressing purgatory. His roar echoed for tens of thousands of meters. Empowered by the heaven-refining, hell-suppressing domain, Haiming's physical body became even stronger. Every attack carried the power of suppression, heavy and terrifying. Seeing this, the dozens of Fallens looked even more grave. They immediately injected their own fallen power into the fallen heaven phantom. The fallen heaven phantom instantly grew hundreds of meters taller, becoming even more massive. The 2 pairs of black bone wings on its back spread out to a full 1,000 meters. The gray domain instantly expanded, clashing continuously with the heaven-refining, hell-suppressing domain. The two were entirely incompatible. Rings of gray and black gold shockwaves blasted outward, spreading in all directions. The tier of this battle was too high. No one else could intervene. At the same time, in a gray palace countless worlds away, on a throne of bones, wearing a ferocious gray armor, a humanoid creature suddenly opened its pitch-black eyes. A terrifying aura instantly awakened. A Fallen has used my power. He focused his mind to trace the source. Soon, following a mysterious connection, a sliver of his consciousness descended upon the fallen heaven phantom. Suddenly, gray light shot out from the phantom's eyes. It was no longer a mindless, dead object. Fallen heaven's consciousness had now possessed the phantom. He looked at Haiming and marveled. This black wolf isn't even half a year old, yet possesses 6th ring combat power. What terrifying potential. Just then, with a fierce roar, Haiming instantly broke through the gray domain. Ignoring the surging corrosive power, his domineering claws, imbued with suppression power and glowing black, slashed down ruthlessly. Fallen heaven frowned slightly. He instantly retreated 1,000 meters, attempting to soar into the sky, but Haiming stayed right on his tail, moving even faster. The terrifying power of suppression caused the phantom's body to sink heavily. Seizing this split-second opening, Haiming leaped high into the air, tearing with both claws simultaneously. Under the crushing force of suppression, Fallen Heaven's figure was slammed into the ground. It collapsed into a 1,000-meter-wide crater, creating an earth-shattering boom. Haiming instantly charged again. Empowered by the heaven-refining, hell-suppressing domain, he gave Fallen Heaven no chance to create any distance. His sharp claws slashed down frantically. Simultaneously, his dual pupils of death erupted with the power of death, frantically obliterating his foe. Even though the phantom wasn't a living being, the dual pupils of death still forced the concept of death upon it. Treating all equally, Fallen Heaven's gaze grew extremely grave. A full 4 innate talent powers. Although losing a sliver of consciousness means little to me, this Black Wolf's potential is too immense. It must be eliminated. Otherwise, it won't be long before humanity gains another throne-tier powerhouse, hindering the true Fallen race's invasion. Thinking of this, Fallen Heaven no longer hesitated. All of his fallen power suddenly exploded, blasting Haiming backward. He then immediately soared into the sky. Immediately after, endless fallen power surged in from all directions. The surrounding Fallens realized in horror that their own fallen power was being uncontrollably drained. As their bodies withered to death, a giant pitch-black spear a full 1,000 meters long was formed. Its terrifying power made the air crackle and explode. Rings of black currents surged in all directions. The scene was utterly horrifying. But it wasn't over yet. The gray domain surrounding Fallen Heaven continuously shrank, ultimately coating the giant pitch-black spear. This was the qualitative leap of the throne tier. Their domain mastery far exceeded that of lower-tier beings. Not only could they expand it to suppress foes, they could also compress and imbue it into weapons to multiply their power. Fallen Heaven's eyes were indifferent as he instantly locked onto my position. The next moment, Haiming instantly dashed forward. His massive 1,000-meter body stood firmly in front of me. Fallen Heaven sneered. I knew you would protect your master. Now die. But the very next second, his movements paused. The heaven-refining, hell-suppressing domain didn't expand. Instead, it continuously contracted inward. The immense power compressed so intensely that the air boomed. Finally, it fused entirely with Haiming's body. Instantly, the black gold patterns flared with blinding light. An ultimate power of suppression erupted. Thousands of meters of ground instantly caved in over a dozen meters deep, crushing countless rocks into fine powder. Fallen Heaven was both shocked and enraged. He hurled the 1,000-meter black spear. It tore through the air like a bolt of black lightning, instantly arriving right in front of Haiming. The destructive force of this strike was infinitely close to Tier 7. Yet, under the suppressive force surrounding Haiming, its speed was halved. Roaring furiously, Haiming raised his claws and directly grabbed the spear tip. The two terrifying powers collided and detonated. Shockwaves cascaded outward for tens of thousands of meters. Haiming's defense and physical strength grew even more formidable. He didn't yield a single inch, even as the ground beneath his feet continuously cracked and collapsed. Fallen Heaven immediately channeled his fallen power to the absolute limit, making the black spear even sharper. But after the two forces clashed and grinded against each other for several minutes, cracks finally appeared on the black spear tip and rapidly spread. With an earth-shaking roar, Haiming pushed his physical and domain powers to their absolute peak. The 1,000-meter spear instantly shattered into countless black fragments. At the same time, the Fallen Heaven Phantom also exhausted its power, turning into a black mist and dissipating. At the last moment, Fallen Heaven etched my appearance deeply into his mind. His consciousness returned to the Grey Palace. As Fallen Heaven stood up from his throne, his abyssal aura made all the demonesses tremble in fear. It is only level 20. How could it use domain compression? His eyes grew deadly serious. Such comprehension and power control are simply terrifying. The prerequisites to break through to the 10th ring throne, this Black Wolf had already achieved them at just level 20. What shocked him even more was that the Black Wolf's domain wasn't just coating its surface, but completely fused with its physical body. This was something only those at the Heavenly King level, above the throne tier, could accomplish. Fallen Heaven sighed softly. What a monster. He quickly composed himself and summoned a Grey Talisman, recording my information onto the true fallen race's kill list. Every human genius with throne potential was marked on it, so Falons at the 6th ring and above could instantly eliminate them. After doing this, he leaned back against his throne and closed his eyes in silence. Back on the devastated battlefield, Haiming's 1,000-meter body stood tall. The black gold divine patterns all over his body radiated sheer dominance. I cancelled the strengthening and recovery spells. My head was spinning with severe dizziness. Even with the Tianquan Swordstaff's mental recovery effect, maintaining those buffs had still overloaded my senses. After a long wait, the prompt marking the end of the Ascension dungeon rang out. The next second, Haiming and I vanished from the spot. Time is up. Calculating rating, accumulated fallen kills, defeated Tier 6 Fallen Heaven Phantom, saved 974 lives. Congratulations. Rating, perfect. Class growth stats +5. Skill, strengthening spell and recovery spell effects enhanced. Skill, summoning spell upgraded to Sacred Summoning Spell. I reappeared in my dorm room, immediately recalling Haiming to prevent the dorm from collapsing. Checking my status panel, my class hadn't advanced yet. I needed one more perfect rating in an Ascension dungeon. However, the skill improvements were massive. The strengthening spell's buff increased from 20% to 35%, and the recovery spell upgraded from slow healing to rapid healing, though its mana consumption was doubled. The biggest gain was the upgrade to my summoning spell. From now on, it would guarantee summons possessing a sacred aura. This left me completely full of anticipation. I didn't rush to summon. Instead, I checked the Fanyun City news on my phone. Seeing the report of hundreds of rescued people appearing out of nowhere, I breathed a sigh of relief. The report stated they were our kin from another world, who had been enslaved by the corrupted, and rescued by a silver-armored awakened, who teleported them to Blue Star. The authorities will properly resettle them. In the accompanying photos, their emaciated bodies seem to have recovered slightly. Zhou Yuan must have fed them blood fruits. With my tense nerves finally relaxed, a wave of exhaustion hit me. I hit the bed and fell fast asleep. Early in the morning, Feng Ye and the other two returned, exhausted. Seeing me fast asleep, they woke me up, grinding their teeth in frustration. It turned out that after the military released the video of me slaying the Hydra, the forums had exploded. When everyone realized I had done it purely with my own strength, they frantically began taking quests to compete. This forced the three of them to skip resting as well. Cao Yang suddenly spoke up, saying the Beilong Academy students were using a team looping quest strategy, making their efficiency far exceed anyone else's. Their fighting spirit was instantly rekindled. They decided to skip eating and immediately gather their teammates to continue questing. Seeing this, I just smiled and got up to head to the quest board. After not taking any quests for half a day, my ranking had dropped from 10th to over 2,000. After a moment of thought, I accepted a quest to kill a level 59 Dark Gold Dire Bear, along with a 6th Awakening quest, before turning to leave. I left the female desk officer completely dumbfounded. That 6th Awakening quest required killing an intelligent, terrifying behemoth. To this day, not even the mentors had completed it. In the command center, Yang Xiao rubbed his forehead, feeling both helpless and expectant. The drone assigned to me continued its tracking. An hour later, riding Haiming, I arrived deep within the mountain range. In an open clearing, I spotted the dark gold dire bear. It suddenly opened its dark gold eyes. As its massive 600-meter body stood up, the ground trembled. A tyrannical aura swept outward as it roared to drive us away. I silently dismounted and stepped back, leaving the battle to Haiming. Its tier was too high. I couldn't interfere in this fight at all. I had to quickly earn contribution points to exchange for metal materials for Yindai to absorb. Seeing me retreat to a safe distance, Haiming turned his head, his gray eyes staring coldly at the dark old dire bear. His body rapidly expanded to over 1,000 meters in length, with a shoulder height of 650 meters. His ferocious aura erupted, striking fear into the dark old dire bear's heart. The female officer in the command center was absolutely stunned. It's only been half a day, and it's already grown from a few hundred meters to 1,000. Yang Xiao was equally astonished. After all, an SSS-rank growth talent had never before appeared among humans. With the ground shattering beneath him, He Ming instantly charged forward. Pitch-black flames exploded outward, manifesting a ferocious phantom over 2,000 meters tall. A 6,000-meter radius was engulfed in flames, before retracting to 2,000 meters to conserve mana. After his battle with Duo Tian, his mastery over his domain and power had vastly improved. The dark old dire bear roared, its entire body wrapped in razor-sharp currents of air. Its claws flashed with a golden light, but before the ferocious phantom, its 600-meter frame looked like a dwarf. As the pitch-black flaming claw slammed down, the dark gold dire bear unyieldingly raised its paws to block. Rings of black and gold shockwaves exploded outward. The ground quaked violently, and its razor-sharp air currents were completely devoured. The dark gold dire bear bore the weight of a mountain. The ground beneath its feet caved in, and its knees gradually buckled. It let out an angry roar, its muscles bulging, as it unleashed even stronger razor-sharp winds. However, the ferocious phantom suddenly shifted its movements. He Ming seized the opening to close the distance, and his dark claws slashed downwards, leaving 4 bone-deep bloody gashes. The dark gold dire bear shrieked in agony. Realizing the pitch-black flames were devouring its life force through the wounds, its eyes turned savage. It engaged He Ming in a frantic bloody brawl. Gallons of blood dyed the ground red, and it all belonged to the dark gold dire bear. Supported by the ferocious phantom, turning it into a 2-on-1 fight, He Ming remained completely unscathed. Finally, the dark gold dire bear roared at the sky, its aura climbing steadily. But then, it abruptly turned around and fled frantically towards the depths of the mountains. Giant trees snapped along its path, kicking up a massive cloud of dust. He Ming paused for a split second before immediately giving chase. With an agility stat of over 2,500, his speed was pushed to the absolute limit, closing the gap in the blink of an eye. The dark gold dire bear looked back in terror, roaring out to summon its king for help. On a distant mountain peak, a slumbering behemoth slowly opened its eyes. Countless blue lightning bolts crackled around its body, as a terrifying roar echoed across 100 kilometers. Amidst a deafening earthly boom, a massive bear-like behemoth, standing over 1,000 meters tall and wreathed in blue lightning, approached on 2 legs. It was the level 62 Undying Thunder Bear. The dark gold dire bear scrambled to its side, accusing He Ming of invading their territory without reason. Hearing this, the Undying Thunder Bear reacted instantly. Blue lightning violently erupted, spreading wildly across the area. The clear sky suddenly poured torrential rain, as countless lightning bolts struck down. Thunderclouds condensed into the eye of a storm, creating an apocalyptic scene. This was the true might of a behemoth's domain, the ability to reshape reality itself. It was even stronger than Duo Tian's phantom, clearly indicating it possessed a king-tier bloodline. My gaze turned grave. Take out the heavenly power to see the account, and give the black name to bless the strengthening technique. Yi Ming in the eyes of the immortal madman. The earth on the soles of the feet burst, rushed in front of the black name in an instant. Right at that moment, pitch-black flames, carrying a terrifying suppressive force, exploded out from He Ming's body. Mystical black and gold patterns illuminated his entire frame, as a domineering aura swept in all directions. The Undying Thunder Bear's body heavily sank, its lightning domain completely suppressed. Heaven refining purgatory. I am the sovereign. The 1,000-meter-tall He Ming stood like an archaic fiend, suppressing the heavens and earth. A terrifying aura rippled around him. The Undying Thunder Bear was thoroughly horrified. Watching the dark claws slash down like black lightning, it roared and swung its paws to meet the strike. The moment the black gold and blue energies collided, a shockwave exploded outward like a tsunami. The sheer impact was earth-shattering. The Undying Thunder Bear pushed its domain to its absolute limits, but still couldn't break free from the oppressive suppression. Heaven-refining purgatory was a terrifying domain formed by fusing He Ming's 3 talents. Even a throne-powered gray domain wouldn't be able to rival it. It bellowed in fury, swinging its other claw, which was wreathed in violent lightning. He Ming remained completely fearless, meeting the strike head-on with his own dark claws. The 2,000-meter behemoths clashed repeatedly. Shockwaves continuously ruptured the air, the ground fractured, and all surrounding vegetation was utterly obliterated. Bolts of lightning rained down from the sky, repeatedly striking He Ming. Yet, he tanked it all with his tyrannical defense, refusing to give the enemy a single opening. Watching from a distance, I silently cast recovery spells. The previously even battle instantly tilted in He Ming's favor. The Undying Thunder Bear roared in absolute rage. Shang-Er, go kill that human, now. The dark gold dire bear locked its savage eyes on me and charged. He Ming became instantly enraged. A deadly intent flashed in his gray eyes. He turned the spacer on the dark gold dire bear into a gray, life-eradicating dead zone. The bear instantly collapsed, severely wounded. The Undying Thunder Bear seized this split-second distraction. Its claws transformed into a blinding pool of lightning, viciously slamming down onto He Ming's head. Under the terrifying impact, He Ming's front half sank into the earth, the ground crumbling beneath his paws. The Undying Thunder Bear took advantage, pinning him down as lightning frantically bombarded him. Meanwhile, the dark gold dire bear struggled to its feet and charged at me with a roar. My expression darkened. Just as I was preparing for a tactical retreat, a loud rumbling echoed from a distance. From within the billowing dust cloud, a figure wielding a 4-meter-long great halberd and clad in golden armor dashed forward. It was Ji-Fei, shattering the ground with every step, while the tip of her halberd dragged a deep trench into the earth. As she closed in on the dark gold dire bear, she swung her halberd and leaped into the air. The halberd's blade expanded to over 20 meters wide and violently slashed down. The all-destroying halberd glow tore into the dark gold dire bear's already heavily wounded body, leaving massive gashes. The dark gold dire bear glared at her in fury and brought its massive paw down to crush her. Ji-Fei's battle intent surged. Her halberd expanded once more. She bolted forward instantly, dodging the strike, then delivered a sweeping horizontal slash that completely sliced through the dark gold dire bear's flesh. Within just a few minutes, the dark gold dire bear's massive body crashed to the ground. In its final moments of defiance, it unleashed a dense wave of razor-sharp air currents. Ji-Fei had anticipated this. Her chi and blood erupted into physical form, as a crimson halberd glow swept forward, completely obliterating the air currents. Finally, Ji-Fei leaped up one last time. Her 30-meter-wide halberd blade brutally smashed down, crushing the dark gold dire bear's skull and killing it instantly. She let out a breath, her fighting aura dissipating. Her halberd returned to normal, and she walked toward me with a smile. How was it? Was your mentor's battle touching enough for you? Recalling her brutal combat style, only one phrase came to mind. Female T-Rex. Ji-Fei narrowed her eyes, pressing the question with a dangerous glint. I quickly shook my head to change the subject. Mentor Ji, why are you here? There was a huge commotion, so I came to take a look. Mentor Jiang said the exact same thing earlier. The corners of her mouth curled up. Then do you believe me? I glanced at the halberd in her hand and said sincerely, of course. Seeing that I was unharmed, Black Nether relaxed, shrinking the heaven-refining purgatory to 1,000 meters. The suppressive force grew even stronger, instantly shattering the undying berserker bear's suppression. The two sides engaged in a desperate clash once again, shattering the earth and collapsing mountain ranges. The scale of the battle was truly terrifying. Just then, the thunderclouds and lightning within a myriad of meters went berserk, striking the ground frantically. Endless black thunderclouds surged above Black Nether, forming a storm eye spanning a full 10,000 meters. A terrifying world-ending power gradually accumulated. Black Nether's gray eyes showed no fear as he controlled the heaven-refining domain to slowly retract. As the power was compressed, it immediately began to rumble continuously. In just a dozen seconds, the domain completely merged into his physical body. Instantly, black gold divine wing patterns shone brilliantly, and an incredibly terrifying suppressive force erupted. Under the darkened sky of heavy clouds, on one side was violently raging lightning flashing like divine punishment. On the other was a towering 1,000-meter giant wolf, his black gold patterns shining to the absolute limit. He looked up at the sky like a true god or demon. Their terrifying powers split the world in two. The scene was extremely spectacular. Within the storm's eye, countless lightning elements converged, crashing down with the undying berserker bear's furious roar. Instantly, the world within 10,000 meters went dark. An apocalyptic blue lightning pillar struck from the heavens. Under this 1,000-meter thick lightning pillar, everything, including the air, was completely obliterated. It directly engulfed Black Nether's entire body. Thousands of meters of land simply vanished. Yet, in the crater over 300 meters deep, the 600-meter-tall black wolf still stood unyielding. The black gold patterns all over his body shone fiercely, becoming the only radiant existence in this dim world. The undying berserker bear stared in sheer disbelief, roaring, "Impossible! How is this possible?" Under the suppressive force radiating from his body, Black Nether cracked the earth with every step, walking right toward the undying berserker bear. His gray eyes were cold and ruthless, filled only with killing intent. Black Nether suddenly lunged with his sharp claws, slashing down with terrifying suppressive force. Seeing the undying berserker bear die, cheers erupted throughout the command center. We won. This summon is too awesome. He's literally a god. That figure standing unyielding under the apocalyptic lightning is something they'll never forget in their lifetimes. Yang Xiao burst into laughter. As a peak 9th powerhouse, he could see much more than the others. Mastering a domain is something only throne-level beings can achieve. Even he had only just managed to manifest his own domain, still half a step away from true mastery. More importantly, the Black Wolf could already merge with its domain, which is the signature ability of a heavenly king. By the time I returned to the dorms, it was already early morning. Just then, a soldier walked over and handed me a safe. Commander Yang Xiao asked me to pass this to you. I nodded. Entering my room, I opened the safe, and 6 top-tier summoning materials immediately caught my eye. I was a bit surprised. Was this my reward for killing so many mutated beasts? Since that's the case, I might as well start summoning right now. It just so happens I've been anticipating a holy attribute summon. Arranging the summoning materials, I reached out and spread my hand in the void, activating my summoning skill. Formation patterns instantly appeared in my palm. As the connection to the other side was established, an extremely intense golden light suddenly erupted. A humanoid figure with golden hair and wings, exuding an aura of pure holiness, appeared. I glanced at her race and was completely amazed. It's actually an angel. Previously at Rift Canyon, Lolan managed to condense a phantom with just a trace of a high angel's power, and even that was considered an SS rank talent. This shows just how powerful the angel race is. From past to present, it seems no summoner has ever been able to summon such a mighty race. After all, they simply don't respond to summons, let alone forge contracts with you. However, seeing this little golden angel on the verge of death, with even the wings on her back broken, I fell into deep thought. Alright. If they aren't weak, they won't come. But they come crippled, huh? I smiled and shook my head. Since this little angel responded to my summon, There's no way I'd ever abandon her. I walked over and touched the little angel's pale forehead. Instantly, a voice echoed in my mind. Scanning initiated. Loyalty, never betray. Do you wish to initiate a lifebound contract? Without hesitation, I chose confirm, accompanied by an unimaginably intense pain shooting from the depths of my mind. Lifebound contract complete. Congratulations, your summon has awakened a unique talent, sun and moon rotation. The unconscious little angel was instantly lifted by a vast and profound power. This power turned into countless sequences and entered her body. Immediately, her severely depleted essence and life force rapidly recovered. After a long while, the little angel's golden eyelashes fluttered, and she opened her eyes radiating a holy aura.
Follow, like, comment, and share for part 9.